Okay.
Test, test, test. Test, Brian. Test, Mary. Test, Sherry. Test, Ron. Test, John. Cell phones are off or on silence. Sorry, Janice. Hello? Is it good? Okay, thank you. Sorry, did sound like the sound system was on. So I'd like to call this inaugural meeting to order and have everybody just seat. Thank you. So I'd like to welcome everybody today to our inaugural council meeting. My name is Angela Chittick. I'm the clerk for Selwyn Township, and I'll chair the first part of the meeting, and then I will turn it over to our new mayor, Sherry Senes. We'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge our council members elect. So we have Mayor-elect Sherry Senes, Deputy Mayor-elect Ron Black, Councillor for Lakefield Ward, John Boyko, and Councillor for Ennismore Ward, Mary Koulis, and Councillor for Smith Ward, Brian Henry. We also have some special guests in the audience, and I'll introduce them in a moment. But I just want to take a moment to welcome all of the staff, members of the family that are here, and the supporters of our council members that are here today as well. We have some members of the media. Thanks, Vanessa, for being with us today. And to the community that are watching us on live streaming, I'm sure there's millions watching us. So I'll just start with a land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to the First Peoples for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. Just ask everyone to observe a moment of silence so that council, staff, and members of the public can quietly reflect on the duty to the community that we are trying to serve. Thank you. Just a reminder to members of the public and those in attendance that the meeting is broadcast to the millions that are watching us here today, and it is recorded and it will be made available on the internet. I did mention earlier, I just wanted to acknowledge some special guests that made will make our event important today. Helen Batten, who is our piper. I think she's just next door. Oh, she's in the back. Thank you. Helen has actually participated for the last few inaugural meetings, and I always tell her that she brings a level of dignity and ceremony to this special event. So we do really appreciate you being with us, Helen, and I think it's an opportunity for her to come in her kilt and show off her bagpiping skills. So thank you very much for being with us today. I'd like to also thank Reverend Kathy Gradante for attending today. Reverend Gerdante, or Reverend Kathy, if you like to call, is the minister for the Bridge North United Church. She will be offering a blessing later on in the meeting. This is another tradition that we've had at our inaugural meetings. It's just a way for us to honor the council members who will be serving this wonderful community. Would like to acknowledge as well Chief Keith Knott, who's representing our neighbor, Curve Lake First Nation. Miigwech Chief Knott, for being with us today. Keith Knott really doesn't need an introduction. I think most people do know him, but I always like to just acknowledge that he was named to the Order of Canada in 2019 for his contributions to this community and for Indigenous culture and history. And it's just an honor to have you with us today. Curve Lake and Selwyn have had a long history as neighbors, and we look forward to the next term to kind of get that back on track. Certainly, COVID has kept us from meeting more regularly than we had in the past. Keith Knott will be bringing some greetings later in the agenda. So the reason that we are here today is to swear in our new members of council, and I will be asking each member to come forward and read their oath of office and oath of allegiance. So I'll ask Mayor Sherry Clemens to come forward.
I, Sherry Stennis, having been appointed to the office of mayor in the municipality of Selwyn, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III. And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
And we'll now call upon Deputy Mayor Ron Black.
I, Ronald Black, having been elected or appointed to the office of Deputy Mayor in the municipality of Selwyn, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. And I make this solemn promise, declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it has the same force and effect as if I made it under.
And we'll have Lakeville Ward Councillor John Boyko.
I, John Boyko, having been elected to the office of Lakeville Ward Councillor in the municipality of Selwyn, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
We'll have Ennismore Ward Ward Councillor Mary Koulis.
I, Mary Koulis, having been elected to the office of Ennismore Ward Councillor in the municipality of Selwyn, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is the same force and effect as made under oath.
And last but not least, Smith Ward Councillor Brian Henry.
I, Brian Henry, having been elected to the office of Smith Ward Councillor in the municipality of Selwyn, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I'll be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. And I make the solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it's the same force and effect as it made under oath.
Thank you very much. And maybe we'll have a round of applause for our newly sworn. And now I will turn the chair over to Mayor Sense.
Thank you. Just want to try it out, make sure it works. This term of council will commence with a blessing from Reverend Kathy Gradante.
Let us pray. Holy One, known by many names and beyond all names, Spirit of life who calls us to live and work together in harmony. We gather here this afternoon to recognize those people whom our community has chosen to be leaders, guides, and vision keepers. We pray that in their work together, they would be ready to serve all the people of Selwyn Township without bias or discrimination. We ask that your blessing rest upon each one called to serve this community in which we live and work and play. Grant them the courage to make decisions based on a firm belief and vision of what is best for the community in the present and into the future. Help them remember that they may have different points of view and still listen to each other with respect, that all are working for the good of our communities. And then when the decision has been made, may they be able to share the decision, to work towards its implementation, to let go of the debate and move on to the next challenge. Gracious God, you call us to love our neighbor as ourselves. And so we ask that your wisdom and compassion rest upon this council, that they will lead with courage and caring. And may they be reminded that in the midst of their work for our community, taking time for rest and renewal with family and friends helps to build balance between home and work. May these people we recognize this afternoon have the vision, the strength, and the will to help lead Selwyn Township with hope and promise into the future. And may we who have chosen them be willing to work together with them to grow this township into a place where life in all its fullness is possible for all who live and work here. This we pray in the name of all that we hold sacred and holy. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. I would now like to invite up to the microphone Curve Lake First Nation Chief Keith Knott to bring us greetings from Curve Lake First Nation.
Thanks, Keith. You made me feel much better.
Howdy, bonjour. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and the little ones. All right, I've seen a little one here a little while. You there? I bring congratulations to the newly elected council of Selwyn Township. It's a joy and a pleasure to be asked to be part of your opening ceremonies here today. There has been a long generations and generations relationship with Inaugural, Selwyn, and Lakefield. So that's why I'm excited here today to be part of your inaugural meeting. And I've known the mayor now for many years. John, I've known for quite a few years. The other ones I know just shortly. But I believe it's the beginning of a long relationship and working together. Because that's what neighbors do, help neighbors. So we have in the past had tri-council meetings between Trent Lakes, Selwyn, and Curve Lake, so that we can work together, know what each other is doing, you know, and this type of thing. Because we're such close neighbors that we must keep tabs on each other. And I'm looking forward to working with the present council. And I also like always to acknowledge the outgoing councils and the councils of the past. Those are the ones that made and paved the way for us to come this far. Because in my own council, I always acknowledge from day one of those who paved and laid the foundation to where we are today. And we must not ever forget on where we came from and the paths that was paved for us. We are here to continue that road to a betterment of our communities. And I wish each and every one of you all the best. And congratulations again to Selwyn Council, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and Council for a joyous and happy term. Every day won't be easy, but make it happy. If you're a happy councillor, your community is happy. So I thank you all very much for that. I'll be glad.
Thank you, Chief Knott, Miigwech. We will now hear from members of council to read the inaugural remarks, and we will start with Councillor Brian Henry.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone that's here today for taking part in what we're doing here. I'd also like to thank the people that aren't here today that couldn't be here. People that ran the election and weren't chosen by the community. Those people also need recognition as they drive all of us. They hear what has been said. They talk to me, and I heard the biggest problem. Everyone's here. We spoke regularly throughout. Just having to understand where things are going. I truly believe we have an incredible team moving forward with council here. When my wife and I moved here 20 years, I did not expect to be here. That's for sure. That was not on my radar. Municipal politics was definitely not on the radar. But life is full of surprises. And here I am before you today. But I do want to thank my wife for supporting me, allowing me to go into this chapter. My children. Grassy view, I forget. Keeping it real and inspire me. My campaign has been a rocky start. Father passed away. And I want to thank all those that worked behind the scenes to help me get here. That's a bit of a distraction. I went for a minute going to the campaign. A lot of people behind township staff. Oh my gosh, you guys blew my mind. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. You guys are amazing to work with, and the ones that aren't here, phenomenal team. Looking forward to working with all of you. So yes, I do want to thank I do want to express my full gratitude to township staff who patiently assisted me through this process. I look forward to working with Selwyn Township staff and council to make Selwyn a better place for all of us and my children's future. In closing, I do want to thank you. As hard as that may sound. Yes, thank myself for my tenacity to get where I am here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And now we'll call on Councillor Mary Coolis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Thank you all for joining us when we're taking our oath of office today. Tough time. My fellow councillors, congratulations. We stuck our neck out, and intimidating as it was, we all persevered. While some of us are returning to the role of councillor, we're all really fresh to our new titles. So, and as we don't know each other, I hope that we can navigate the next 2 years together. Even when we don't support each other, we get along and we can help each other along the way. I want to thank everyone who supported my campaign, from those who sponsored and attended my golf day, to those who canvassed with me, and those who hosted play dates with my kids, and everyone providing advice and kind words along the way. Highest on this list is my partner, Luke. We debated for over a month if running was in our family's best interest, and overall, we decided to take the dive. For the back road running and being there as I muddle through the highs and the lows, and I think as Brian can attest, there are a lot of those. Thank you, Luke. I couldn't have done it without you. To my kids who I loved watching put up signs and meeting people, you enjoyed the first week and you hated the rest of the journey. I promise you don't have to do it again, but thank you for being there for the ride. Next, oh gosh, I want to thank Donna. This is a bittersweet thank you. Prior to this spring, I characterized myself as a couch cowboy, critiquing any election from the sidelines and comfort of my home. Never having to experience canvassing or feeling the pressure of being a public spectacle. And let's be honest, I would have never run against Donna. Really, there was no need to. And she's been an amazing counselor, and time again, she's come back, and time again, the people of Ennismore wanted her. This was pretty explicit and consistent as I was canvassing. First, voters would open up their doors and a puzzled look would stand across their face as I gave my pitch. And no matter how well I nailed that pitch, no matter how well I had like great body language or I batted my eyelashes when I really felt I needed to, they would always ask, is Donna running? I know I have important shoes to fill, and I hope that with the help of my fellow counselors and the township staff that I continue the excellence of Donna's legacy. It's with a heavy but excited heart that I say thank you for passing the torch. Looking at what I can or want to achieve, this is actually the hardest part of the speech. Now that I'm a counselor, I have to be even more careful about what I say, whom I say it to, where I say it, and how I say it. I'll keep it short and sweet and use my new catchphrase. I can't comment until I know what the province thinks. What I can tell you is that I will work diligently and full-heartedly. I stand behind everything that I discuss with residents when I canvass. But until the province does make up its mind, I'm going to sit at the sidelines strategizing our next moves. Then you're going to hear what I think about development and economics in our community. In any fashion, I'll be a key advocacy player. Top of the list alongside keeping taxes low and excellent customer service standards is improving communications between the township and the public. There's been lots already done in this field, but with the changing population dynamics and technological advances, there's always room to grow and improve. To the residents of Ennismore, do keep me accountable. Please ask those questions. It's a two-way street. I need to hear from you for you to be able to hear from me. I will do my best to help navigate the uncertain waters ahead, striving to maintain the integrity of Ennismore and improving the quality of life across Selwyn. Here's to the next 4 years. I can't wait to see what we accomplish and what we learn together.
Now I'll call on Councillor John Boyko.
Selwyn is a diverse community comprised of those who live on farms, on urban enclaves, waterfront homes, and in a fully serviced urban village. Mary Bryan and I were elected in our wards, but now, like Sherry and Ron, we must and we will consider and represent the interests of all the people of Selwyn. As a council and staff, we have two challenges, I think, before us. First, working as a team, we must be managers. We must manage the maintenance and enhancement of our services and infrastructure. The second challenge is that while managing, we must also be leaders. Leadership is tougher than management because it entails dealing not with what is immediately before us, but instead with all that lies beyond the horizon. Leadership demands engaging in an existential conversation regarding who we are and who we wish to be. In many ways, the five of us are joining that conversation already in progress. The conversation is reflected in our official plan, in our strategic plan, and in the goals of our staff departments. But part of that conversation should, I think, now be more intentionally focused upon the pivot point at which we find ourselves due to the most fundamental issue that lies before us: growth. Everything else we address in the next 4 years will be affected and informed by growth. Growth is necessary because we must play our part in addressing the nationwide housing crisis. We owe it to ourselves, we owe it to those in Selwyn now and to those wishing to move here to provide more and more affordable housing. Growth is necessary because we owe it to ourselves to be a vibrant community in which people can work, live, play, and invest. We must accept the responsibility to not just manage how we grow, but to lead it. Over the next several years, growth will occur throughout the township with the creation of new lots, new homes will be built. Our largest area of growth, though, will be Lakefield South. When completed, it will be home to 2,500 to 3,000 new neighbors, close to the current population of Lakefield. Let us begin the exercise of our leadership by considering Lakefield South a blank canvas. Let us establish a vision regarding the neighborhood we wish to build there within the community we wish to be. Let us accept the leadership challenge necessary to create, through our development of Lakefield South, a process and showpiece that will inform the growth that will inevitably follow. More in and around Lakefield and Bridgenorth, and more spilling over Peterborough's borders. But let's do even more than that. Let's accept the challenge to make Lakefield South a nationally recognized benchmark in how community building can and should be done. We can do this. Now, let's be clear. The government of Ontario has committed to seeing 1.5 million homes built in the province over the next 10 years. It has the power now to largely dictate the process through which those homes will be built. Its new Bill 2023 proposes to increase that power. We must lead within these provincial parameters. Further, a lot of work has already been done to advance the development of Lakefield South and elsewhere in the township, and we must also lead while respecting that work. But here again is the fundamental question before us. We can manage or we can lead. Leading means we do not bemoan the power that is not ours, but rather we responsibly apply that remains. Responsible leadership in this case means seeing developers as partners who share our desire to create the best possible community. We have an extraordinarily professional and skilled staff. We have an exceptionally strong council, of which I'm sincerely humbled to be a member. It is the strength of our council and the professionalism of our staff that affords me the confidence to propose and say what I have, and the assurance to know that we can do it. I thank my wife, Sue, daughter, Jennifer, and granddaughters, Kenzie and Anna, who encouraged me to undertake this endeavor and then helped me to realize that goal. The many volunteers who supported my campaign, those who engaged me in conversations when I knocked on every door in the village twice, the staff and my fellow councillors for their dedication to community. And I thank Anita Locke for her years of service. I'm looking forward to working with other members of council, staff, and others as we critically assess the pivot point at which we now find ourselves and develop the processes and partnerships based on transparency and trust that will allow us together to lead our way forward.
And now Deputy Mayor Ron Black.
Welcome, my new members of council, our guests, staff, families, and friends. Thank you for joining us today. Firstly, I want to thank the residents of Selwyn Township for their confidence and support, being acclaimed as your deputy mayor for the coming council term. Honored and very appreciative of the opportunity to serve the community for the next 4 years after a 22-year break from this council. Chambers upstairs. I promise to fulfill those duties to the best of my abilities and in the interest of all Selwyn residents. I want to thank my wife Sharon for her support and in making this decision to run again, decision to dedicate a portion of your time to municipal politics impacts both of our lives, and I'm thankful for Sharon's support and the rest of my family. I'd like to congratulate Mayor Sennis on her acclamation and look forward to working closely with Sherry to implement a positive agenda over the next 4 years for Selwyn residents. To the elected board councilors, John, Mary, and Brian, we worked very hard to get there. Congratulations on your successful campaigns. Looking forward to working with all of you to address the challenges facing our council over the next 4 years. Also like to thank all of the candidates that put up their hands to serve in our community this election. It takes courage and commitment to do so, and I encourage them to stay engaged in municipal politics as opportunities open to serve the community in various ways. I would like to also thank the outgoing members of council, Andy, Donna, Barry, and Anita, for the many years of exemplary service to our community. I trust that we can lean on your experience moving forward as we work through our transition. I'd like to thank the township staff, especially Angela and Tanya, for their great work and leadership in conducting a successful municipal election. As we are all aware, voter participation in many municipal elections was down this term, and especially in Selwyn Township, where we only had 24.5% of the available electors cast a ballot. I would like to look at some options and opportunities to improve voter engagement in the future and participation prior to the next municipal election. I'd like to take a couple of minutes to talk about some of the issues and challenges that this council will face over the next 4 years. According to the 2021 census, Peterborough County, including First Nations, saw 12.5% growth in the previous 5 years, which was 4 times the growth of the city of Peterborough, which was only 3.2. We're all familiar with the significant surge of population during the summer, warmer months, but Selwyn Township will see an accelerated growth in our full-time population over the next 10 years. Aging baby boomers and the work from home individuals are shedding the GTA and moving to our beautiful community for lifestyle and economic reasons. Our federal government recently announced that annual immigration will also increase to 500,000 over the next few years in order to support shortage of skilled and unskilled workers in Canada. The need for new and affordable housing is obvious, not only to support new Canadians, but to support those in Ontario who are already struggling to find suitable housing. I encourage this council to take more active approach, a more effective active approach to identifying and supporting opportunities for affordable housing in our community. As many of you are aware, provincial government has introduced Bill 23, aimed at accelerating the building of 1.5 million homes by 2030. This legislation in its current form will have a significant impact on the planning process, development charges, and other roles of the conservation authorities in our planning process. As someone who has engaged the planning process in the last couple of years in an effort to build affordable senior housing in Lakefield called Lakefield, I confess that this is a very lengthy, daunting, and expensive experience to navigate for anyone, never mind someone like myself who's worked on both sides of the equation. The impact of Bill 23 on municipalities is being analyzed by numerous organizations, and many of them have serious concerns about the impact of the bill on municipal infrastructure, taxes, and our environment. Given the significant changes the bill proposes, I really believe further consultation with municipalities is necessary. In any case, I'll leverage my business planning and past council experience to ensure that whatever the outcome of Bill 23 is, to ensure that there's an appropriate balance between the sustainable development, infrastructure, social, environmental, and the cultural needs of Selwyn residents. Selwyn's proximity to the city of Peterborough provides opportunities for annual growth in property tax assessment, and past councils have worked hard to ensure Selwyn Township has the lowest tax rate in Peterborough County. I'll use my financial management and productivity experience to ensure that that continues to be the case. As your deputy mayor, I'll consider the impact of my decisions on how it affects all township residents. Had the unfortunate council experience along with Councilor Boyko, who was a member of the Lakefield Council back in 1999 and 2000, that worked through the municipal amalgamation process. This was very challenging and divisive time for residents and all three proud municipalities, and unfortunately some of those scars still surface in conversations today. It's time for Selwyn Township residents to be a united force in our future development of our community and work towards solutions that are fair to all residents across our wonderful township. Thank you.
I have a sore throat, so I'm going to try and get through this. I'm humbled and honored to have been acclaimed mayor for this term, and I thank the residents of Selwyn for their continued trust and support. My late husband, who was my biggest supporter, always said I would make a great mayor. Time will tell. Thank you to everyone for joining us today for this momentous occasion. I especially want to thank my brother Larry and sister-in-law Suzanne, who've always been there for me. And thank you for your continued support over the years. I love you both. Thank you to Helen Batten for piping us in, and to Reverend Kathy Gradante for bringing us the blessing, and to Chief Nod McWetch. The last term saw 51 years of municipal experience leave through retirement. And I want to say a huge thank you to Donna Ballantyne, who's here, Jerry Heron, Anita Locke, and past Mayor Andy Mitchell for their service. They all played a part in making Selwyn better communities. Welcome and congratulations to all of our new councillors. Being elected is a significant accomplishment, and your willingness to serve the Selwyn community is much appreciated. To each of you, a large thank you. Soon, our formal training and orientation will begin, and together we will need to focus on providing our residents good governance, ensuring Selwyn continues to be a great place to call home. We want to make the most of the next 4 years in terms of value created, outcomes delivered, service to the community, support to the organization, and to move forward with conscious intent to sustain, to grow, and to thrive. Each of us brings a unique perspective as well as individual priorities to the council table. These will be important ingredients as we forge the collective intent of council It's important to remember, however, that our authority to act rests not in our individual mandates, but on the collective will of council. Collective decision-making takes time, thoughtful debate, and the willingness to consider other perspectives. I look forward to engaging in the process with all of you. As part of our process, it's important to remember that our decisions must account for current realities, existing priorities, and ongoing commitment that need to be honored. Part of our work will be to set broad corporate objectives We will be updating services plan, our trails master plan, our asset management plan, and of course, our budgetary policy. All of these will help guide us forward. To assist us in monitoring enactment of our policy direction, you'll soon be introduced to quarterly reviews of work plans for each department. This will be an opportunity to see our collective direction implemented by our professional staff. Additionally, our priorities will be tempered and shaped by the actions of the province. We are hearing a lot about changes Ontario is making as it relates to planning and housing, ACA Bill 23. But there are many other changes coming down the pipe that will impact municipalities, including police services boards, firefighter legislation, conservation authorities, and recycling, to name but a few. We will have to pivot to deal with the changes. More broadly, there is a dire need for doctors, healthcare workers, and long-term care facilities in the province, including here locally. We need both the federal and provincial governments to step up and take significant measures to help alleviate the crises in healthcare. We can and should be a strong voice to advocate for new investments. Like all municipalities, we've invested heavily into our infrastructure assets, but I can assure you, our most valuable asset is our staff. I found them to be hardworking, dedicated, and resourceful. And although we've not always agreed, we've always shared a common purpose to serve the people of Selwyn. I'm proud we have consistently had the lowest tax rate in the county while providing superior services. This is a testament to the prudent financial management of our dedicated staff and our past councils. With the threat of recession, we may not see large grants coming from the federal or provincial governments in the short term to help pay for changes the provincial government proclaims. Properly planned, sustainable growth is important and necessary to increase our revenue stream. And I remain a strong advocate for business attraction and to helping our existing businesses succeed and thrive. I'm confident the electorate chose wisely, and I'm looking forward to working with you all for the next 4 years. And the council and staff will roll up their sleeves along with me to deal with whatever comes our way. Thank you. This seems to be that we have finished the business of the day. So I need from council a motion for a confirming bylaw. Can I have a mover?
I'll move it.
John, seconded by Ron. All in favor? That is carried. And I need a motion for adjournment, please. Mary?
Mary, go ahead.
You okay with moving? Okay, and Ron, all in favor? That is carried. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.